I am gravely concerned about the situation in Pakistan.
Many believe its intelligence service, the ISI, has been working with the Afghan Taliban, even while its offshoot, the Pakistani Taliban, massacres innocent civilians at home.
And taken the shape of Talibanization.
The only good Taliban is a dead Taliban.
A spy agency, a rogue organization, a state within a state, and who really calls the shots on Pakistan's foreign policy?
What we did was the requirement at that time. Still today, I won't say that one regretted it. One played the card as it was to be played.
You say better job, you would have given us more Taliban or less?
The Taliban emerged because after the Soviet Union, the Mujaheddin were not entirely up to the task. So that is how they evolved.
But since the fall of the Soviet Union, in fact, right up until very recently, depending on who you believe and which reports you read, you have been backing the Taliban in Afghanistan. The only reason they've managed to make a comeback is because of support from the Pakistan government, military, ISI. That's pretty outrageous, isn't it?
To give the Taliban and their supporters in Pakistan a big applause.
Applaud the Taliban? Well,
absolutely, because they have...
You talk about resisting foreign occupation. Let's just break that down.
Yeah.
According to the UN, of the 4,000 people, civilians, who were killed in Afghanistan last year, the Taliban killed 75% of them. Is that what you want us to applaud?
How many were killed by the occupation forces?
Well, less than, 75% were killed by the Taliban.
Maybe a little less, but I'm not contesting the figures.
You're an educated man, you're a general, you're a senior person. Your response to me saying that they've killed 3 out of 4 civilians last year cannot be, how much did the other side kill? We are not in the playground, General. Yes. 75% of the civilian casualties were caused by the Afghan Taliban. You want us to applaud that?
This is the nature of this war. It's futile to say they should have killed a few less, but in this type of warfare, people would die.
You're talking in a very kind of sterile way, so let's just break this down. Are you saying that it is justified in this war for the Taliban, as they do, to blow up schools full of kids? Yes or no?
Plain.
You've said in the past that the US and Pakistan are, quote, at war against each other.
Yeah.
Is that still your view?
Yeah. This was a big illusion on part of, let's say, Pakistan. They deluded themselves in believing that they were allies. Actually, they were not. The allies have the same objective, which we did not have. The allies also agree on a certain approach on which we did not.
It's different to say we are at war. You use the phrase that America and Pakistan are at war.
Right.
The reason I bring this up is it's a funny sort of war in which one side gives the other side billions of dollars in aid, and the other side takes the money, pockets it, and then goes and helps the enemies of the people who gave them that cash. That's a weird sort of war.
I think we got much less money than we should have.
Okay.
Keeping people of the
They certainly
leash.
didn't give you money to go and help their enemies and give safe houses to Taliban leaders and coordinate their activities in Afghanistan with roadside bombs, etc., etc.
So we fooled them.
Is that what you think? You fooled them?
No harm in doing that.
What would you say to someone who says, basically, the behavior of Pakistan in recent years, and which you're clearly so proud of, is the behavior of a quite treacherous and duplicitous country?
If you cannot ride 2 horses, you have no business to join the circus. These states play double games, and if we did it successfully, I suppose this is again in the nature of this thing.
Okay. Do you regard yourself as a moral man?
If it is concerning an individual's act and an individual's interest, then I suppose morality counts. But in the statecraft, the morality takes a backseat.
You suggest that this is about statecraft, it's about playing games, it's about riding horses. If you said, you know what, we don't do morality, we get things done. The problem is, you don't get things done either. Even on a practical level, what you're doing hasn't worked. So take, for example, the Pakistani Taliban, the so-called TTP, who are an offshoot inspired by the Afghan Taliban. No. They are now blowing up kids' schools in Pakistan. They have been carrying out gross acts of terror for the past few years. That is a Frankenstein's monster that you lot created. That is a blowback from your pragmatic policies.
Collateral damage. Oh, my word. There is a price to be paid for this type of game. It's a high-stake game.
Full of kids is collateral damage.
Right. high-stake game. Some people, like you believe that we created a few groups, the other side would also do that. No, this is the only way this game is going to be played. It doesn't happen that one side sits back and says,
let's be clear.
The morality demands, the morality
Forget
requires
morality. As I said,
that
forget morality. On a practical level, how does it help you that the groups you once armed and supported...
Simply describing how these things happen. I do not have to justify anything. I do not even try and describe what is good and what is bad. I'm just trying to, for the benefit of everyone here, say how these things get